3-1. Um, what did you think of the game? Dodsey, what do you think of the game?
It was okay, but I'm not liking this catching up. It seems like a little trend now that we like. We go in and then play catch up in second half. But I know it was a chance to see some of the other players. So I did like what Klopp did, but I don't like the fact that we go 1-0 down and having to chase the game where we look a bit silly. So I don't know. To be fair, I'm happy with the season so far, but I'm happy with that we got the points and we go again for the next round. So I'm expecting to win all games in this tournament, if I'm being honest.
In the group, you mean? Yeah,
In the group, yeah.
yeah.
But
Um,
I'm happy.
you're happy. Good. Who stood out for you tonight?
Ben Doak.
Yeah, you liked him. You
Yeah,
liked what he did.
yeah, I like him.
Anyone else?
To be fair, I only caught the last bit of the game, only what I saw. So, yeah, so I caught only bits of the game. The rest of it, I had to do things. So, but I was, to be fair, I was listening to it and I watched a little bit of it. But I like what Ben Doak. For me, Ben Doak the rest are just doing their jobs.
Yeah, Ben Doak reminds me of a little, like almost a Michael Owen, like when he burst on the scene. Obviously, he's not like the goal scorer Michael Owen was, but that small, nippy kind of player. You know what I mean?
It's got something good for the future there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yaz, what did you think of the game? Sorry, Dodgy, anything else
no,
about?
no, no.
Okay. Yazzie Boo Boo, what did you think?
No, well, listen, we won the game. Um, it's just tough. I mean, there was lots of Badgertich first game of the season, Gravenbach debut, Endo really debut, if you like, Kelleher. It's going to be it's going to be a good competition for the fringe players. I mean, okay, in the end, you brought on your A-listers, if you like, just to get you over the line. But I was a little bit disappointed in a few players, to be honest. The ones that concern me really, not just for this Europa League competition, because if we get to the latter stages of this competition, the further we go in it, the more the bigger names are going to come in.
Yeah.
But what I struggled with a little bit tonight was the players that we might have to rely on in the league. You know what I mean? Because, the first 11, 12, 13 players will be decent. But, I thought Tsimikas for me was shocking tonight. Absolutely woeful. Really bad. Really bad. And I think, you're a senior player almost at Liverpool now. You've been there 3 seasons probably. And poor, poor man management, poor leadership skills, poor decision making. You're playing like an Austrian team, and he really disappointed me tonight. He's playing in the back line there with arguably a very, very good goalkeeper, Van Dijk, Kanate, and Gomez, very familiar players all around him. Gomez in the end, but very familiar players all around him. And he was shocking. I mean, the second half, he's broke through the middle and he's got to put a player through. I don't know what he does. I really don't. And the other one that I'm already a little bit concerned about is Endo. I just don't see him as a Liverpool player. I really don't. I make decisions very quickly on players, as you know. His movement, his timing, is not Liverpool. It's off top level. I mean, so you're going to win that game. You're entitled to win that game. Very soft penalty, by the way, to get back into it. It really wasn't a penalty. Really wasn't a penalty. But good opportunities for players that are out of form to gain some form. Good opportunities for players that coming back from injury to get some minutes. But yeah, we've won the game. Like Dodd said, I don't believe we don't win that group. I don't believe we probably win 6 games out of 6 in the group stages. Because if you're playing Toulouse or the other team that are in it, Union, whatever they're called, all you've got to do is just look at the bench, and you have to bring on the Salahs, the McAllisters, the Shoboslais. It's going to make big differences. But look, it's a good platform for us, because I think, and I mean, if we are only in it for a year and we make the Champions League next season, I don't have a problem with it. If we end up having 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons out of the Champions League, then I have a problem with it. But this is an opportunity for players that aren't first teamers to grow. Your Kelleher's, your Bajetich's, your Dokes, your Harvey Elliott's. You know what I mean? Games that you have some responsibility, have that competition. It's going to be your competition until you probably get to the quarterfinals, I suspect, if you get there, and then things change. But these players will grow, because you're not going to, Dope's not going to learn his trade in the Premier League at the moment. You know what I mean? Keller has a fantastic goalkeeper, but he's not going to shift Alisson. So, yeah, I mean, look, there was good things here. I'm very clumsy in the first half, but some of the things I saw in the first half, the touches were poor. The give and goes weren't there. It was poor. But as Dodd said again, with us this season so far, it's encouraging, because if it clicks, and I imagine it will, and when it does click, I think it could be very, very good. It hasn't clicked yet. That's the truth. I mean, we somehow beat Newcastle with 10 men. We got back into the game tonight with a dubious penalty. We were completely outplayed in the first half by Wolves at the weekend. Thankfully, we're only 1-0 down, and we're managing to come out on the other side. And I think very early on in the season, when it clicks, I think it could be that. It could be very free flowing football. We've almost had every game this season. We had 2 red cards, so we played 2 games with 10 men. The other day against Wolves, McAllister's booked in the 4th minute. I mean, that player can't be booked really in the 4th minute. It takes everything he does in a game of football out of what he wants to do. You've just taken part of his game away. So, and we've had another one of those yellow cards very early on. Who was it? Was it Trent against?
Yeah. Trent in the Aston Villa game.
And the Aston, just things like that, where you just cauterize that player's ability to express themselves. So,
no, yeah. It was Trent in the Newcastle game. Do you remember before Van Dijk?
Okay, so there you go. So we're down to 10 men and a yellow card. So you're kind of cauterizing these players from even being able. So we've had a lot going on, and we've managed to. But if it clicks, like I said, I mean, if it clicks, and I'm a firm believer, this is a great manager. He's won leagues, Champions League, so he knows what day it is. He should get it right, Bajetić, for me, I was very fond of Bajetić last season, and I'm really glad to see him come back. I mean, you've won the game. 11 changes, debuts, players playing with each other for the first time ever. I don't know how established LASK are, or how long their players have been together, or, how well they know each other, but I have a feeling some of our players at the minute don't know each other's names, the ones that play tonight. So, you can't argue with it. They won the game. I didn't expect us not to win it. Perhaps, you learn something by going 1-0 down and winning the game 3-1, rather than winning the game of football 5-0, where you would probably learn nothing. If you win 5-0, you're going to score 3 goals in the first 20 minutes and no one's trying an inch, or, we're just coasting in second gear. You learn nothing. But going down 1-0 and, turning the game around, you learn something about your players' characters, or their you know what I mean? So, yeah, you can't argue with it. It's been a funny start to the season. We're kind of, we're up there at the moment in the league, and we won this game, and I struggle to remember really a game that we've probably played well in. As in, wow, game. We haven't had one of those games yet. But yeah, no problems with tonight.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the performance tonight is a bit strange because obviously he's made so many changes. Like you said, full debut for Gravenberch. Endo given a start where he's come on before, like bit parts. Come on when we had 10 men. Come on, I think he had a start in the Premier League as well, so it's not his first start. But yeah, I think that with Endo, you got to give him a bit of time. I think he will. I think he will be a good player for Liverpool, a good squad player. I think he could do a job for us. Gomez worries me. He has a habit of he looks comfortable on the ball, and then all of a sudden he gets caught in the possession. And
Gomez is. I mean, listen, we're talking about one player we know nothing about, one player we know everything about. He's just too blasé. He's almost so switched off, so laid back.
I think because he thinks he's so quick, he can catch up and he can recover from his mistakes. But he puts us under pressure a lot, that guy. I really like what I see with Szoboszlai. McAllister looked more like McAllister tonight, not like the other day when he had a bad game. I know he got booked in that first couple of minutes.
It's not just about the booking. I mean, he played that game as a 6 again. He's had a very tough start, really, in my opinion. I mean, I think he's a very good player. I think he's an exceptional player, but he's been sent off. He's played in a game where another player's been sent off. So he's had to adapt in that game. He's played as a number 6 in 2 of the other games. I mean, he's kind of becoming a little bit of a utility player at the minute. Wherever it kind of fits play. So yeah, we've had a very kind of interrupted start. So yeah, I think he's a great player, and when he starts to play where he should play, I think things will be very different for him.
Hello, Hugo. You go.
In our mascot.
Yeah, so Cop Talkers, this is Hugo. All the 241 subscribers. Yeah, he just done a little fart for you there.
No, just no farting, no farting.
Snoring.
It's a little snore.
Yeah, he's a lovely dog, he is. Solid muscle. Could play centre-half for Liverpool, actually.
Yes. Sammy Lee, we should have called him Sammy Lee.
Yeah, Sammy Lee. Yeah, no, but going back to the game, I think, they did what they had to do. It is a bit of a worry, a small worry that we keep going behind in games and having to chase the game. But
we come back though. That's the old Liverpool.
No, I know, I get that, but you can't keep doing that. No. We can't keep giving the goals away. I mean, look, to be fair, the goal was a great strike.
Yeah, today's goal, I mean, you listen, that team would never have scored if they played until tomorrow. Had they not scored that worldie. I mean, it was, the guy's just taking a chance, and he's just, larruped it.
Yeah. So, look, they were energetic. They're an energetic team. They're full of energy. They're full of endeavour. They tried. They're at home. Liverpool, in their ground. I mean, it was it was an occasion for them, so they were going to be up for it. They were. And I think it was a good exercise for Liverpool. I mean, I think the Europa League is going to be good for Liverpool this season. Like you say, it's only going to be one season. Next year, we're going to be back in the Champions League.
Listen, look, I think we will be.
Looking at how we've started the season and how the team's played, and like you said, we've played well in patches in games, but we haven't really had that game like the game against Man United last season or the Man City game where, I mean, even in that Man United game that we won 7-0, we played the first 25, 35 minutes. It was quite an even game. I mean, I know we went ahead, we were 1-0 up, but the game wasn't done and dusted at that point. And then obviously Liverpool scored early in the second half and run away from them. But yeah, I think we're going to get one of those games this season where we're going to really wallop someone and it's going to all click because we've got too much endeavour and skill and hunger up front. And I really believe they are going to click. And I like Salah's role as sort of like the daddy of the front line because you can see that the other players like Diaz and Nunes, they look for him when they have the ball. So there's a kind of they like him and they want to keep him happy, but he's also starting now. I mean, see, the last 4 or 5 games, he's starting to really, set things up for the team. And I mean, he's been involved in a goal in every single game this season that we've played, either scoring or assisting. So I like this new Salah. I think he's got his mojo back this season. He looks like he's really up for it. And
a little bit.
Sorry?
I think the only one I think is a bit off par is Gakpo, if I'm being honest.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I think. Listen, you got to remember that at the moment, none of those players, barring Salah, probably know whether they're starting or where they're playing. 1 minute it's Nunes, 1 minute it's Gakpo, 1 minute Gapco's a 10, 1 minute he's a 9. Jota on the left. It's a very, very different. He calls it a Liverpool 2.0. I mean, it's a different thing altogether. Like, a few years ago, it was Mane, Firmino, Salah, Mane, Firmino, Salah, Mane, Firmino, Salah. I mean, unless one of them had a broken leg, he was playing. Now, because we've got, a few players. Listen, at the end of the day, those 3 players at their best were actually all undroppable. Okay? The difference today is none of those players, probably apart from Salah, aren't droppable. No one's made Klopp say, well, I can't drop you, mate. Diaz is droppable. He's not exactly... and all of them, not just Nunes, Gakpo, Jota. None of those players have given him a headache to say, well, he's got to play. So the fact that none of them have done that, then he can pick and choose what he wants. I'm not saying they're not playing well. What I'm saying is none of them have become undroppable, or and
they haven't established themselves yet.
Mane, deemed himself undroppable, as did Firmino in the best Liverpool side. At the moment, there's no player in that side, in that front 5 players that you can actually say, he has to play. None of them. Salah, because of Salah. Everything about him. Take Salah out of that place. 2 other positions, you couldn't tell me hand on heart he has to play. About the others, none of them.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, But that's not a problem because they're working well together. If that eventual midfield settles down, i.e., no stupid yellow cards in the 2nd or 3rd minute, no red cards to either a midfielder or a defender, which makes it if we can just play with, I don't know, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and one other, Bajcetic or Gravenberch or whoever it's going to be. We can't be Gravenberch because there isn't a 6 out of those 3. So someone has to play that 6 role.
Bajcetic.
Well, yeah, I'm saying if it's Bajcetic, but I'm saying the midfield can't be Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and McAllister because unless he plays McAllister as a 6 again. But we've got 6s there, so play a 6 as a 6. But we can start settling down. If those players can start getting a little bit of a routine and a rhythm, and the rhythm will start now. Now it's going to be 2 games a week now, basically. I mean, I think we've got Carabao Cup. Is it next week, the Carabao Cup?
Next Wednesday.
And then the week after that, again, it's back to Europa. So it's 2 games every week, thick and fast. And he will have to, navigate who plays where. And, that's a job in itself. But listen, you can't argue tonight. We've played a team unheard of. It's all well and good calling LASK, whatever, only this, only that. It's only Ben Doak at the minute, you know what I mean? Or it's only Badgertich, or it's only, you know what I mean? They're young, inexperienced players. So it's a perfect platform for them. And we've got the job done. On to West Ham on the weekend. And I expect, us to, West Ham are playing as well as we speak. But I just want a little bit of...
Did you see what Mikel Antonio said on some podcast?
Well, he's got his own podcast, isn't he? He does his own podcast.
Well, he said something like, yeah, I firmly believe that West Ham are going to finish above Liverpool this year.
He also said he had it on good authority that Salah was as good as gone.
Yeah, he said that Liverpool were crazy not to sell him. That's what he said.
No, he said he was gone. He said he had it on good authority that he was gone. It was all done, but he just ran out of time, is what he said.
Nah, I don't believe that.
Whatever, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. But like I said, we just got to start establishing positions. I mean, I don't know, Trent will be back at the weekend. They said he might be. I mean, Canate was a bit clumsy tonight again. Van Dijk needs to step, that partnership needs to solidify. Robertson's under no pressure at right back, left back by no one after Tsimikas' performance tonight. And, it does kind of pick itself, Alisson is Alisson. And, Van Dijk, Matip, Robertson, Trent, Szoboszlai is always going to play, McAllister's always going to play. So there's one spot in midfield. Salah's always going to play. And there's two spots up top. And the rest are going to... So let's see. You know what?
I like the energy in the team. I think we've got energy this year, which we lacked last year. There's an intensity about the way we play. There's a hunger. Last year I didn't see that. I think maybe they were knackered or from the season before. Yeah. There was all kinds of things going on last season, but I like this season. Hey?
There's a plan B now. Our bench has never been as good as what it is now. You can look on the bench now where years ago, who was you going to bring on? Ox, Keita, Milner. It weren't really doing anything for anyone. But now, if you look at our bench now, it looks quite good. I mean, you've got the likes of, you can bring on Gakpo, you can bring on Jota, you can bring on Diaz if they're on it looks a bit better than what it did years ago.
Oh yeah,
I think not only the numbers and the names. I think with the players that we've got now, it also gives you a lot more permutations.
Yeah,
so Jota can play on the left, Gakpo can play as a 10, Gakpo can play as a 9. Salah can play through the middle. Yeah, they can all play in different positions. So there's a lot of permutations with it as well. We can shift that thing around. I'd like to see people like Elliott. Doak's not going to be near it yet. Doak's going to play in the Cups and in this, Europa League. He's not going to get near the... He will be around it and, fly in the ointment with 10 minutes to go when you need a goal, perhaps. But, Dodds is right. The squad is a lot better than it's been last season. On top of every game we could have played in every competition the season before, we had our injuries as well. No midfielder. And that we should have bought in, and that it is quite explanatory. So that's why I was talking to one of the boys today and said it's quite refreshing that we are in the Europa League this year, and if it is only for one season, then I can live with it, because the boys that aren't going to get those chances on a Saturday or a Sunday are going to learn a lot. Keller was going to, beginning of the season or end of last season, they were talking about Kelleher deserves first team football and he's going to leave Liverpool. And he does deserve first team football. But all of a sudden, Klopp's probably said to him, right, you're going to play every Europa League game. You're going to play every FA Cup game. You're going to play every Carabao Cup game. And before you know it, he could be playing he could get 20 games this season.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So he stayed. So valuable because, who knows what happens with Saudi Arabia, Alisson and his Brazilian mates. Someone comes in with 150 million, he might be gone, and Kelleher might be the new Liverpool number one.
Yeah.
So what's going on at Liverpool is good. We're not in the Champions League for one season. And I keep on saying one season. I think about the teams that could make the top four next season or this season. Man City obviously are a gimme.
It looks like Arsenal will be up there.
Arsenal, time will tell. They're now playing 2 competitive games a week for the first time. Their best players are playing 2 competitive games a week for the first time. Man United are nowhere near it.
No.
Absolutely nowhere near it. And Newcastle, again, they could be found wanting Newcastle. Everyone, they spent money. Have they bought anything fantastic? Harvey Barnes, Gordon, that Italian bloke they bought doesn't seem to have settled in. He seems to,
Tonali.
Yeah, Tonali. It doesn't seem to have landed running, and a few others playing 2 tough games a week. Top four's up for grabs. I don't see how we don't finish in the top 4. To be honest, not with the squad that we've got. But we'll see. Look, it's got the makings of a decent season for us. I think it's going to be exciting, interesting. Best 11s on a Saturday, Sunday, getting us 3 points, hopefully, and then a little bit of fun and a little bit of whatever with these youngsters mixed in with a few. Kanate played tonight, and that's the beauty of this competition because Van Dijk's been suspended for 2 weeks. He needs minutes. He's got West Ham. He needs minutes. He'll play. Kanate's been injured. Badger's just come back. Endo's turned up and hasn't started any games or really played much football yet. So it's perfect. It's the perfect. People might think no, but for where we are as a club at the moment, it's the perfect thing. If we finished in the Champions League this season, and we were playing Champions League this season, we would be okay. But all of these players that we spoke about, the first teamers, will be playing 2 games a week. And then we'll get to the stage of fatigue in the league, because we don't have a huge squad. We've got a good squad and a sensible size squad with some potential in it. But it's only potential,
But the ceiling looks high for this thing. It really does.
It does. There's no doubt. It does. And I said at the beginning of the show, there will come a time when we click. And I don't think it's far away. It could be 2 or 3 games' time. Already they're talking about, right?
I'm saying Anfield should be a bit fuller then with the new stand hopefully nearly done. I think that will boost them up a bit more atmosphere in there as well.
Not really. I don't know about more atmosphere. I think half the stadium's sold to tourists now. The atmosphere can be. It's the same at every ground now. Anyway, they choose the games they get up for, and the big ones. And I've been to Saturday games at Liverpool where you can hear a pin drop sometimes. So it's not. They reckon it's going to be ready now for the Merseyside derby, don't they?
Okay.
Yeah, 61. Well, it might be ready for the Merseyside derby up to 61,000. But
wow,
the season's got the makings of
If you just look at how things have gone since last season, and since all the summer, the transfers out, people leaving, transfers in, it just feels like the momentum is positive.
Yeah,
keeping Salah positive. The results. Maybe not performances, but results positive. It just feels, and then the new stand being ready, another positive. More fans in the stadium, bigger stadium, better stadium. Our stadium's, really good now. And the surrounding area of the stadium is modernised as well. So, and all without moving. So yeah, I'm really happy.
I just hope that, like we said, we've had a decent start without playing well. I just hope that, we were lucky to beat Newcastle. I say lucky, we were lucky to beat Newcastle.
Hold on, we were lucky, right? In terms of they weren't good enough to capitalise.
Well, no,
on their chances. But the lucky bit was when Almiron hit the post when he ran through.
There, I know the game, so that's one game. We were lucky. I mean, if you use the word "we were lucky," if you use the phrase "we were lucky," then it's a concern. We were lucky against Newcastle. We were very lucky against Wolves. Okay, we were lucky in parts against Chelsea.
Got to learn from it. Now. Got to learn from it. That's the thing,
but it's whether you learn from it or not depends on whether you've got the ability. I mean, we've been lucky. We've just mentioned it in 3 games, so.
Yeah, but that's what
we've got.
Every team has luck in games.
No. It's not. No, Wolves should have been out of sight in the first half on Saturday. Okay, that's not down to us. It's down to them. Okay,
yeah, they weren't good enough to take advantage of it.
Not good enough. They were unlucky. You know what I mean? A save or a deflection or mistimed or
Hold on. The chance that guy missed when all he had to do was stand still.
The point I'm making is we are not controlling games of football. We are not dictating the game.
Right. Yeah,
okay. There's games where we are being steamrolled.
Yeah.
Okay. And that needs to change because you won't win the league with luck. Right. That's not going to happen because there will come a time where you will play the best teams and that won't happen. And there will come a time when you will play Wolves and West Ham and Aston Villas and they will raise their game and it won't happen there either. Yeah. So the fact that we're talking about luck, that needs to change. We need to control, dictate games of football.
Yeah.
Win the games when we want to win them. Not fucking 10 minutes to go against Newcastle and somehow fucking Nunes gets his bloody bow and arrow out and manages to find the bottom corner twice in about 3 minutes. That don't happen every week. That does not happen every week.
No, it doesn't. But if you look, listen, at that game, that Newcastle game, we hung in the game until the last 10, 15 minutes. And then Klopp made the changes. And then we had that offensive threat and Newcastle was spent. So,
I'm telling you.
Yes, we rode our luck in the game. Yes. But in the end, Klopp got his tactics right in terms of just hanging into the game and then making the substitutions at the right moment and going for it a bit.
And all I'm saying is, I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is we need to control games of football. Man City and Arsenal, arguably, do not get dictated. They don't. They dictate. Okay? And we lost that mojo last season. We've got the point somehow this season so far. Okay, but we have to now, and I'm not knocking them because, as I said, there's been reasons every game we've played 5 games. 2 of them we've played with 10 men. Yellow cards to players stupidly early on, and you're treading on eggshells. We need to build on it now. Now we need to, because now people already, we've got such a name under Klopp that already people are starting to make noises about Liverpool. You know what I mean? Already Arsenal last season were, the challengers, and already I think people are talking about us this season more than they are Arsenal. Because of our reputation. So that could help us, that reputation, that, fear of Liverpool. So we need to use that. We need to build on it. I like Szoboszlai. Looks like a really confident player, arrogant. And you need to be arrogant to be a good footballer in that kind of position. Have some stature about you.
Be honest, when he was signed, who would have thought? I mean, the first thing who's he? That's not a big name, but he's actually turned up. He's actually, I think, one of our best buys for this season so far.
Well, so far, I mean, you can't argue with that. McAllister's a World Cup winner, so there's enough ingredients there to turn this into something special. So let's see what happens. Like I said,
and Gravenberch is a good signing as well.
Yeah, I don't know what his injury was. He had a little injury tonight. Hopefully, it's nothing serious.
Yeah, he's
we'll keep. As I said, the key is for the last how many seasons, all these top players have played 2 games a week, every week. You know, I mean, next week in the Carabao Cup, we might have Kwanzaa playing as a centre back with Gomez or who knows. You know, Van Dijk's going to be used liberally. You know, the big players are going to.
Your mate Tsimikas will get a game next Wednesday.
Tsimikas needs to fucking buck his ideas up, mate, because today he was very, 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 very disappointing. Very disappointing. And yeah, I mean, we went from. I mean, last year I was quite critical of Robertson as well.
He's fine.
Robertson looks like he's playing much better now.
He's back. Well, he's a senior player, but there's no competition to him now. I mean, you can't call Tsimikas competition. He's cover.
No, he's cover.
He's cover. But as long as he's picked his game up, and then we'll be okay. I mean, he played at a very, very high level for a very long time. But Tsimikas tonight was very, very poor. Anyway, let's.
All right. Well, look, remember also, it was Tsimikas' first game this season. So, you know, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt one game.
Yeah, listen, these boys will be playing every week. You know what I mean? He'll be playing next Wednesday against Leicester, and then he'll be playing next Thursday against Toulouse if it's next Union, whatever they're called. Yeah. So they're going to get their game time. But as senior players, I expect a little bit more. But we can't argue that it's been a stuttering kind of start to the season. A wounded animal from last season. We've patched ourselves up. We've licked our wounds, and we're going again. And we started okay, so you can't argue with that.
No. On to West Ham on Saturday. Yeah, should be good. We'll do another show after that.
Yep.
What do you reckon for West Ham? Win?
It's a home game, isn't it?
Listen, we're playing West Ham at home.
We should be winning that game.
West Ham are, as I said, what are they doing? Well, they're playing as we speak. Let's have a look at they're winning 3-1, West Ham. What team have they put out? So they've put Fabianski, who's probably now their second goalkeeper. Carrere, never heard of him. Mavrov Panos, he's a debutant really. He probably will be a first. Ogbonna, Cresswell. So out of that back 4, they're probably playing one player that may start against us. Ward-Prowse will play against us. Paqueta will play against us. Kudus may play against us. Fornells probably won't. Ben Rama may, and Danny Ings up top. So they've rested players as well. I mean, Antonio came on after 60-odd minutes. Souček came on after 77. Emerson came on at half-time, and Cornet has just come on. So, they've rested a few themselves. But look, West Ham at home's one of our go-to games, isn't it?
They beat us last year, didn't they?
No.
I thought they beat us.
No.
Okay.
All right, lads.
All right, well, thanks for coming on. Cop Talkers, subscribers, please comment in the comment section, things you want to see us talk about. Come on the show if you want. Also, let me know. Shout out to all the boys in Greece, Angelo. Look after yourselves. Keep well. And my mate in Grenada, Dwayne, you look after yourself too. Keep well. And also share the channel with other Liverpool fans, please. And tweet it if you can. I'm trying to get us up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this season. If I can. That's the target. So help me, please. All right, guys. Stay well.